What's up, everybody? This is Nick from Decryptocat, and today we've got a really special video for you guys. We've been talking about doing this for quite some time, and we finally got it started. So guys, we've got a group of content creators out there in a private group, and we've just all been chatting and having fun and learning from each other. It's been really excellent to have those kind of resources. And so today what we have for you is a special collaborative video, kind of a live AMA kind of a thing with Ox Doctor and Beach Office 365. Driptonian was supposed to be with us, but he had some family issues that he had to attend to, so he will probably be on our next one. Guys, if you like seeing this kind of content, please, first of all, subscribe to each of these channels, right? If you aren't already, you guys need to subscribe to our channels. We have a lot of good content, and everybody has a different point of view, and that's what really drove this concept. Was, you know, everybody has a different point of view, and so we really learn a lot from each other. And so guys, subscribe to each of these channels. They're both great guys, and they both have a lot of great content, but also more importantly, like this video, and then go and like the videos on their channels as well, because it really helps drive the YouTube algorithm so that we can share this content to more people. And that's about it, guys. We had a lot of fun, and I hope you all really like it. It's a little lengthy, but please stay tuned for the whole thing. It's well worth it. You'll learn a lot, and you'll have a lot of fun. Guys, if you like this content, throw a comment below. Let us know so that we can know to do more of them, and let us know like what questions you would like to ask, and what other drip YouTubers or DeFi YouTubers you would like to see in future episodes. All right, so without further ado, this is episode 1 of the DeFi Defenders. Guys, let it play, kick back, relax, and enjoy.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the DeFi Defenders Co-op. I am joined today with some good people here. We're all going to be sharing and talking sharing our experiences and journey through this crazy world of DeFi. I've got the OXDR in the house. I got the Decryptocat in the house, and we just kind of put this together to just, you know, open up some dialogue on what we're doing and where we think the crypto markets are at, and what we're doing with DeFi. And yeah, Decryptocat, you got something you want to chime in on?
What's up, guys? How's it going? How y'all doing today?
Great, awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad we were able to kind of put this together, guys. You know, we were in a chat, the three of us, you know, with a few other you know, great people they're putting out content on YouTube. And you know, we thought Decryptocat, I think it was you that was like, let's put together a little discussion, a little live discussion with all of us, and I thought that was just great.
Yeah, so for the viewers out there, what you don't know is we've all been secretly hiding in the dungeon of Telegram. And so we created a private group for all of us YouTube collaborators or YouTube content creators, you know, basically focused on drip. Not all of them are, but yeah, so it's a great place that we can all just kind of get together and share ideas and news, and, you know, everything that we hear through the grapevine, because we're not all listening to the same grapevine. So it's a great place to just kind of get together and talk.
Right.
And so far we've got over 20 channels represented, so it's growing every week. We're getting a couple more in there. It's really great to see.
Yeah, and I thought what would be kind of cool to do, just to sort of start off, and OXDR, let's maybe we start off with you in terms of what got you into DeFi.
Hey, thanks, and appreciate chatting with all of you guys and everyone out there. And of course, you know, we were chatting offline, and like the Decryptocat said there, and Beach, you know, we've been really just collaborating and talking, and I think this would be great for everyone to really get into other things there. Long story short, for me, you know, my journey I would say it's less than a year really in DeFi. It was kind of something I kind of just felt, all I knew of crypto was Bitcoin and hearing about Dogecoin and that kind of stuff back then. And then started hearing, what's this DeFi thing? And what are these protocols and what are dApps? And, I have a good long background in the financial world, but not in this world. So I've been trying to mix the two, and I've just went all in of just taking up a lot of my time of constantly wanting to learn and grow and get to know this more. So, it's happy we've been doing so. I fell into Forex, for instance, projects with Manor Farm. I don't even remember how I heard about it. That was my first ever experience of who this person is and these protocols. And that's how I learned about drip, and just, been moving forward like that ever since.
Nice. And to Crypto Cat, what about you?
So I've been in crypto since about 2017. My coworker kind of pulled me into it. He was a big Bitcoin aficionado. So I got in there just before the big spike to 20K or something, and eventually kind of got tired of my money just sitting in the exchange doing nothing. So at some point I ran across Crypto Wealth's channel. Shout out to him. And he was talking about these online crypto casinos, and where you can mine the house tokens and get daily dividends. And at the time, that was BetFury and Chips. And I'm still in those, still accumulating dividends. But at some point, I ran across Paid Boy T's channel, and because he had a video on BetFury, he was in it as well. And he said, "Hey, take your dividends from BetFury and buy drip with it, and then multiply that, and you'll just grow your wealth so much more." So that kind of got me into the DeFi world. I'd never really investigated it prior to that. I was just playing with the casinos and having some fun. But yes, bought a couple drip back then. I think that was back in August or something, and been kind of DCing ever since.
Yeah. For me, I think I first heard of crypto and Bitcoin. It was probably 2013. I was getting into stock trading and things like that. And I heard about it, but I couldn't wrap my mind around what that was and didn't really think much of it. And it was like each time it went through its bullish cycle, I would hear about it again, Bitcoin mainly. And I was like, I just can't quite, I don't know what that is, and I guess it was year ago, a little over a year ago, and end of 2020, I was like, wait a minute, what is this? And at the time, really, I was just looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, the big names, and of course Doge then got really popular, and those meme coin things. But I think overall, looking at what blockchain is and realizing that this is like, I mean, probably going to be one of the biggest inventions of this century. I mean, I do believe that in terms of how we utilize it in day-to-day lives, just like what the internet was of last century. And once the blockchain stuff started clicking, that's when I was like, wait a minute, I want to know more about, cryptocurrencies, because that's obviously, what runs on blockchains, at least right now. And yeah, I was getting into the big coins, and I got into Dogecoin. I made a ton of money off Shiba. And then I started learning about bot trading and things like that. And I was doing really well with the bot trading as markets were kind of going up. And then I started hearing about this DeFi stuff. And then when the markets kind of started tapering off, I was really curious, well, what is all this DeFi passive income stuff? And that's how this was probably back in like late November. And I just became consumed with it. I fell in love. And it's been a kind of a crazy ride, and what a time for us to be entering into, the DeFi space during, this time in the financial world, where we're seeing, a big sort of pull downwards into a bear market. And, it's DeFi is risky enough as it is. And so kind of jumping 2 feet in during this time has been wild. It's been exciting. It's been exhausting at times, But I love it every day. I just love this stuff.
Do you feel like you're jumping 2 feet in head first?
Yeah, pretty much.
Praying to God you don't break your neck.
Right. Well, I think that pretty much the three of us, I would imagine, and anyone who's watching this, I would say that one thing we all have in common is this desire and this love, even if it's just with the idea of this kind of passive income, right? And that I mean, let's be real, like passive income, like I don't even know if I believe what other people, like it's not passive income. What does that even mean? Like I have to work for money, you know what I mean? And so even if I'm making passive income, well, how did I make it in the first place? Like I put in a lot of work to create money, to then put it to work, to then become passive, right? So it's not like it's just this thing that you automatically just start getting if you choose something correctly. Like it's got to come from somewhere. And I would say that in terms of DeFi, I don't know if there's really anything passive about this right now. Like I feel like I'm working kind of hard.
Oh, agreed.
You know, but the idea of, you know, waking up in the morning and looking and seeing, wow, I've actually made money while I was sleeping in something, right?
Yeah.
And the first time I got a taste of that actually was when I started my own business outside of financial markets, and realizing, oh, wow, like I'm making money when I'm not actually trading my time to do anything for it. And once I realized that that actually does happen and that does exist, right? It's not just some theory. I was like, where else can I do this? You know?
Absolutely. I mean, if I was to just jump in for something, I was going to say is that, you know, I think of, just like you said, there are people who do things and earn money. And then what do? Some people go and buy real estate and become landlords and have real estate portflio. They're passive in making income from the rents, but it's still work. And like you said,
right.
Yes, you still work every day, putting in hours, watching the different platforms, tracking it, thinking of strategy, allocating, claiming what I want to do next. So it's definitely work, but I'd much rather be doing this work than any external work. So like I said, that's the goal here. And that's what drives building this, learning more in DeFi, helping myself and others. Like we're all trying to get to that goal of that passive income where you'd rather be working for yourself on your own investments and managing it and pruning it rather than external work where you don't have really much of a say. And that's like, you know, that's my end goal. And I think that's all of our end goals.
Yeah, I think passive is really
loosely used.
Well, yeah, but you know, I was going to say, like, while it's not truly passive, you still have to work for it. The goal is to not have to work 9 to 5 every day. Right.
When I started, I remember the first time like it clicked on me, this idea of sort of passive income is actually real. Was, like I said, when I started my own business, and I remember I was sitting on the beach. It was the middle of like a work day, and I realized that I was getting basically, there was billable hours that were going out for work that I wasn't specifically doing, right? But it was generating through my business. And I realized, wow, I'm making money right now. And I'm sitting on the beach and I'm looking at my feet, they're in the sand, and, you know, the beautiful ocean's coming. And I was like, this is for real. Now, it took, 11 years of working my ass off to get to a point where I could then start my own business and have the relationships and contacts, to have all that. But like I wasn't trading my time anymore. And that was when it was like, okay, where else can I get this? And that's when I started looking at ways to do stuff online and affiliate marketing and things like that. And there really is like nothing better than, like I said, like waking up in the morning and looking at whatever platform you're on, whether it's in crypto, affiliate marketing, your own personal business, and seeing more money has entered into your account overnight while you were sleeping. I mean, that's seriously, like it's everything you thought it could be and more, the feeling, right? So I absolutely love it. And, and DR, like you were saying, I mean, it's something to go from being an employee to no longer having to work for anyone else. And to be able to, you get to a point where you can make money from almost anywhere in the world. That's another thing. Another thing great too is when you're traveling, you're realizing, wow, I'm making money right now.
Yep, and that's definitely the end goal. And that's, like I said, so many people who are sub to our channels, who are watching this, who are into the different telegrams and discords, or in the different DeFi projects. That's everybody's end game and end result. And that's why I hope we can all collab and be able to help people overall, help ourselves, which in turn helps everybody else and gives them the information to get everyone to that goal. I mean, I have owned my own business. I've been pretty much self-sufficient. I've always been someone who's worked for myself, 1099. I've never really had, I have a few, of course, but not many regular W-2 employment jobs. And that's something that's, most people don't want to do, especially look right now in the world. We have this great resignation going on, right? People more and more want to be self-sufficient. More and more people want to get out of the rat race and doing these kind of things. And I think this couldn't be a great place to do so. And like I said before, I'd always much rather work for myself and know that I can benefit off of what I'm putting in. And like you said, these cryptos and these platforms can be like your employees. These are your employees, and you're going to be able to leverage them and keep building off of them and letting them keep leveraging, keep building and growing. So you're building your own little empire of employees, in a sense, if you want to look at it in that world, or from that lens. And I think that's great. And I think we're all can see the future here. And there's so many great projects and there's so many great developers, as we know, that we're into with Forex and others, et cetera, that I think are going to help get there. So the vision's there. Now it's just putting in the work and the time and just seeing how this all plays out.
What you just said is so important, and I mean, I could not agree with you more. And it's exactly I've even thought of doing a video on this in terms of just a mindset where we'll just talk about, because I know we're all in Drip Network and that's a big thing, but like the way that I mean, I do look at a lot of this DeFi stuff really is, it is a business, right? And that there's these different functionalities within the business that are working all the time, just like my other business where I do have people working for me and they're doing all this little stuff while I'm in the back kind of just managing everything.
Right.
And you're 100% correct that, like, I look at this stuff as creating my own little, crypto empire, business that's functioning and generating all the time. And so I think that's huge. And for people to start looking at it that way, not just as, oh, this is my investments. Like, no. Like it's more than that, right? In the sense of that, it really is like you can create a mindset around, I'm a business owner and this is my company. Right. So
and
I think
at these prices, you can buy a heck of a lot of drip minions.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, I think that's fantastic. And that's I'm still thinking of different ways of coming out with a concept around that. I know that when it came to some of my affiliate marketing stuff that I've done, like I just said, well, I'm the CEO of an advertising agency.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the mindset that I just took over. Like, well, no, I'm the CEO and founder of a digital advertising agency. That's how I approached it. It wasn't just like I'm an affiliate marketer, plug in some links here and there. Like right. You know what I mean? And so I love that. And I totally agree. And that's what gets me excited. And that's why, just like you were saying too, about, is it passive? Well, it is, in the sense of I'm not trading my time, but I do put a lot of time into it because I love doing that. And if you own a company, I mean, you got to put some time to tending to some different things.
So DR, with your financial background, how do you think that the fiat markets are affecting crypto and drip and everything else?
I was talking with Beach offline a little bit earlier. We were chatting about a few things, and I think we all knew it was coming. And I don't really. It's like Pandora's box, right? You can't put it back in. There's no way to put the genie back in the bottle with crypto and DeFi and other stuff. But of course, the fiat world and the government want to try their hardest. And there's a strong propaganda push right now, saying crypto's this and crypto's that. They're trying to get the masses to not keep joining. But like Beach said earlier, the adoption right now, like the internet adoption, is growing, and it's not going to stop no matter what they try to do. So I think there's a big push with that. Now, the fiat world right now, I mean, I believe recession is here and coming. We are in a high inflationary period. I don't think the Fed can raise rates more. I don't want to get too much in that world, but some people like I might be losing right now, but I still think it's important that, inflation's super high, gas prices are super high. Everyone is hurting in the real world, paying more for everything they were, their money's not going as far. And right now, there's not much they can do about it, no matter what they say. They can't keep raising rates that much. They can't keep doing certain things. The Fed is going to have to pause at some point. The money printers are going to have to come back on. And in this debt-based system, that's why all of us are coming here to crypto and DeFi. We want out of that fiat debt-based system. We want out of where they control and they pull all the levers and they say who's an accredited investor and who's not, and who is allowed to do this. They're complaining that people are losing all this money and using it for their propaganda again of all these things that have gone down. But what about, why is they not talking about the stock market that just went down and Tesla went down 50% and S&P's down 40%? Where's the crying to protect those investors? You don't hear that, right? What you hear about is let's regulate crypto. So it's coming, but I don't think they could do much about it. But I do think that the external fiat world and the fear right now is also fear right now in the crypto world. And that's why I think a lot of people are selling. I think we're in that bear market, a lot of capitulation right now. So, I think better times are coming, but this is like what they say, when the strong hands build their big positions for the future. If you're in the right things, you have to be, can't be in junk, but if you're in things you believe in, they're going to be around for the long term. This is where you build and accumulate for the better times later.
Totally. Do you think that the Fed's attention to the interest rates and the potential recession is giving crypto some more time to, before they try to enact more regulation?
I think there should be some regulation and some things of rules that will let big institutional investors get into this world. Like they want to get into the Bitcoin, they want to get into some stuff, but they don't know how to play the game yet. So, and I think that big money wants to get in. Their customers want to get in. I think there was something like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs or something is now allowing the customers to buy Bitcoin, or they want to help them trade it or something. So like they want to get into that bigger side of it. They don't know the DeFi world that we're in. They're just learning about the main coins like the Bitcoin and blockchain and that stuff. But I kind of lost my train of thought. I mean, mostly there. But at the end of the day, there's a lot there.
Yeah, you're 100% right. People have been dying to get it. Jamie Dimon, the CEO of JP Morgan, was the biggest. I mean, he wasn't a believer in crypto at all, and said it was all, and you've over the years you've started to see his position change.
Yeah.
To now where I think JP Morgan is really looking at digital assets as where they want to put a lot of their attention to, and like you were saying, DR. There are funds that would love to get in, but without regulation, they're unable to do it. So once there is some regulation, which I do think will happen, and I also think is needed, we could see floodgates open. You know what I mean, and money could be coming in that otherwise, it just has to stay on the sidelines. So.
Yeah, like I said, they call it like dry powder, right? They call this money sitting on the sidelines. There's so much money. And I think even right now in crypto, even in this DeFi, there are whales, I'm sure, that are playing this game that we don't know about, that are in here buying and selling right now. And when the fiat world and the stock market goes down, they pull out because they like, oh, I need this money for my other fiat investments. This was my play money, so to speak, but their play money is big dollars. So I know for a fact there's got to be big players in these systems right now from out there. That are really into this and doing all that, but by the same token, I just think this is just something that's really, really we're still only on the early cusp. I still believe.
Yeah.
It's like the guys in Forex's DAO, right? Like, who knows what kind of scheming that they're up to. The scheming makes it sound bad, but these
that's true.
Grand plans of theirs to take advantage of coins in a good place.
How I was thinking the other day, God, but I just wish I could be like a fly on the wall, or you know what I mean, like be able to go up to Forex, like, hey, like just you and me on the down low, like what's going on?
Right.
Like, are you worried about anything? um,
Guys, if our viewers, if you want to see us do an AMA with Forex, start pinging him for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of Forex and Drip Network, because I think that I'm not a Drip channel. I'm a DeFi crypto passive income channel. It's just right now the majority of what I'm covering is Drip, because I'm in the DeFi world. It's just the one that I have the most conviction about.
Yep.
So I think a lot of our viewers, actually, I know a lot of our viewers are heavy into Drip. So just kind of want to get a sense from you guys, like, hey, where do you think we're at?
I think the crypto cat should jump there. I think you would be a good one to maybe jump in for a little bit longer. You guys being in Drip and maybe have more you can share first initially here or add value here, I would think.
So obviously, we're struggling. Everybody's struggling right now, and just trying to keep hope. I think it's really just the big thing right now is we're just trying to keep the faith and have some amount of assumption that Forex has not done all this for nothing. He's one of the few that I've heard of that has a decent track record in the crypto world. And obviously he has some huge investments. I saw some forwarded message on Telegram last week. I think it was when I was at the Top Gun premiere. And somebody had forwarded a message from him saying that he was a VIP level 4 or whatever in whatever exchange that he uses, and that requires like $15 million a month of trading volume. And it's just trying to, I was like, holy shit, just imagine, what kind of investments he has. And that kind of gives some amount of reason to why he doesn't take dev fees from his projects. It's like, he's got to have a crap load of dollars in his bank, right? And now, with that said, my one question for Forex is like, what is he getting out of this, right?
Yeah, and sorry to cut you off, but I think that is where I feel like there's something about the fact that what's driving him when it comes to Drip Network and Animal Farm, the fact that it is not money related, and that it's more about what it seems to be really creating a name for himself, or stamping like
a legacy.
Yeah, that to me almost seems like, wow, that might be the one motivating factor above money even, right? Like that would keep somebody from just striving for excellence, is the fact that it's not really about money for this project. Yes, he's a capitalist, you know what I mean, and has investments in a lot of things, but this particular project is about a legacy. And to me, that actually sounds way more bullish for the project long term, because that's what is driving him.
Yeah. And I do. I'm sorry, I was gonna say, I think that, I know some people, maybe not at his level, but that do have a lot and are very well off. And what drives them is to just be better. It's almost like they're competing with themselves, and they want to keep pushing themselves to be better and know more and grow. And like you were saying, Beach, earlier, like, building that legacy. And he has said previously in AMAs, he's self-made millionaire from many years ago in other trading, and obviously his name with Forex and the Forex markets and currencies and whatever he's done in that world, that, it's more like, hey, I've got a lot and I just want to build something that I want my name to go down in history as like the best DeFi dev ever or something,
Yeah, he's said that multiple times, that he just wants to make the best DeFi project in DeFi. But yeah, I think you're right. That's the legacy, and that's a good word. He's just trying to drive his legacy, and that he doesn't need to collect those 3% dev fees or whatever the other projects are doing. I think and I hope, right, that he's just out there to build a great ecosystem that we can all profit from.
Yep. And if I could just say one thing to add on that, if you don't mind, it's like, I think that that is what helps him, because I think a lot of devs who get into this space maybe have some really good talent or maybe have some good ideas, but at the end of the day, they're also looking at their own personal pocketbook and wallets, and they're thinking, what do I have to have? What do I have to get? When that is not even a thought, when you don't even need it, when it's not even necessary, you can really, really focus on the game theory, focus on the project. He always is looking to innovate and do something no one else has done. Think of other ways to make things work together, because the money's not a concern. He's not worried about, oh my God, I got to make so much, I need to make this money. He's like, yeah, whatever. This is more of just like, a mad scientist in a lab just trying to come up with the best possible thing and scenarios, because he just that is not important to him. It's not necessary. He's got that already taken care of.
Right. Totally agree.
What do you guys think about the minting of new tokens that started yesterday?
I personally don't know enough about, I know what it means, but I don't know enough about how it's going to play out yet. So I'm just kind of more watching. I'm seeing right now drip as we speak right now, live is $10 on the button right now. So I'm just looking at the current price here, but how is this going to play out long term? Forex is trying to build utility. Drip needs utility, it needs other places to use it and stake it and park it and do other things to stop the selling pressure. And I know he's working on that. It's just a matter of, how does this play out in the near term, which everyone wants to know.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. But I guess that's largely because a lot of other people that are in the know-how aren't really worried about it either. But I saw Ray in the drip chat earlier this morning, just noting that the 1 million tokens is elastic, right? So it's printing now, but then once we get some new capital in, that'll trickle down back to the million. So it's like a temporary inflation.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it was you may have had this on your video yesterday. I can't remember if it was you or maybe it was Drip Talk, but if you look at the white paper, excuse me, if you look at the white paper, it says it in there that in the event that we run out of drip to pay out investors, we will start minting new tokens.
Yep.
And so it's clearly in there, and it says this would be very rare for this to happen because of the great game theory that we have in all of that. So that's what, okay. So it's happening. It's like it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Right now, we are in a very rare time, right? We're going through what I believe is going to be one of the biggest market corrections that we've seen since 2008. I could be wrong, but we are seeing, obviously, I think everyone would agree, we're in a very bearish market right now. Mm-hmm. And game theory wise, a big chunk of the whole ecosystem is paused. So of course we're printing new tokens right now. Like this is like, it's like a double whammy of things that have happened that have caused this huge sell-off. And it's in the white paper. People keep saying, look at the white paper. It says it's the first, deflationary or non-deflate, yeah, but he has it in there very clearly. In the rare case that XYZ happens, like we will print, we will generate new tokens. And that's what's going on right now.
And I think I could jump in a little bit here too, is that I think a lot of people who are in this space who have come into these DeFi projects, I don't know who knows what the average age would be, who knows what the average investment experience would be, if you really think about it. Some of you, again, I don't know everybody's age and different stuff, but I was around and saw the 2000 .com bubble completely burst and go crazy. I remember 2008 when everything crashed, the Lehman Brothers crashed in the fiat world and real estate. I'm living in Florida now. I was living in Florida then. I saw every house on the other block was foreclosed on and for sale, and the bank owned them all in the whole collapse. So some people haven't lived through some of those heartaches of big downturns or recessions or bear markets, and they're freaking out, understandably, like, holy crap, what is going on right now? But it's part of the cycle. It's what happens. It comes every so often. And if you haven't been through it, if you don't know how to handle it, money is emotional and people get very emotional with certain kind of stuff and investments. And, it's just a big part of that. But by the same token, like you said, this is a rare event. And this is rare, but look at, we're still in a place where even though it's still printing 1%, it's still doing what it's supposed to do. You're still growing, you can still compound, you still have that there. It's still following the rules that were set in place. And I always try to zoom out and look at, well, what's going on here compared to the outside world, the outside fiat world, how much is really going on there that is really way worse than we're getting, because at least we're still having something that's printing and growing. And yes, we know right now it's going through, but at the same token, it's still operating as was designed to do.
Right.
Yeah, and like I've posted in a lot of my videos, I'm looking at the DripFi calculator right now, and I put the price down to $5, right? If I can compound to the max of 27K, I'm still pulling in at a price of drip price of $5. I'm still pulling in $1,100 a day.
Not bad.
Yeah. I think you might be able to buy a cup of coffee and fill up your tank with that.
Right.
All right. Yeah,
so I think we just all need to stop panicking.
Well, listen, I think that, and DR, I haven't been around obviously as long as you have, but what I can say, I'll just say personally, what I found when I was, trading, in the stock market, and I did swing trading. I did a lot with options, option selling, just being in that world. What I can say, the most challenging part of the whole thing was the emotions. You go into any charts nowadays too. The amount of indicators that you can use to show like what is about to happen. I mean, it's almost like it's cheating, and yet 90% of people fail at trading, right? You can put on all these indicators and it's like very clear. It's like, okay, it's going to start going up, or it's going to start going down. And yet there's a psychological component to it that is so hard. And I remember like the first 5 years, I mean, I got wrecked so many times, because my emotions took over, and they still sometimes take over, but I've gotten a lot better at that. And I can understand where we are right now, in terms of just coming off of a bull run, right? And just coming off of COVID, where everyone really kind of was home, and they started, they're getting free money, and they're like, well, what am I going to do with this? And they start learning about crypto and trading and stocks. And, we saw this huge influx of retail, and they've never had experience with any of this. And now everything's crashing. Of course, their emotions are getting the best of them, and it's like you said, Nick, like, okay, if everyone just calm down.
Yeah,
this is part of it,
And that's the whole thing too. I'm sorry. It was like I had made a video about some of this stuff in the bear market cycle or whatever not so long ago, and that's the whole thing with that, is that it is very emotional, and you have to be emotional. I get emotional unless you're dead or robotic or you're not a human. You're going to get emotional, but it's how do you taper that emotions? How do you stay calm within your system and what you see and what you believe? And like you said, if you've never been through it, and that's the thing, that's the one comment I'll make, and I'll stop on this, is that I've never understood the mindset. People I know personally, when they see, oh my God, my thing's going down. We just finished the greatest bull run of all time from 2008 to where we are now, after the Fed made the first bank bailouts and all the stuff that happened back then. And people go, I would love to buy this when it's at this price. Man, you run out and buy it on sale, right? People trample each other on Black Friday to buy a TV for $200, that's $1,000. But when their investment money gets on sale, they're like, no, I don't want to touch it. This thing, no. And then when it starts going up, it's like, oh man, I'm missing out. The FOMO sets in. And that's why the majority of retail investors, with their emotion and their money, and Forex has said it, people FOMO in at the top all the time. And once things come in, that's when they start coming back. And yeah, you don't want to catch what they call a falling knife. You want to wait and see where it's at. If you're DCAing, that's one thing, but buying in new money, you're seeing certain stuff. But as you start seeing things now that are building a base, you see we're in the bear market here. All the greatest investors they say they buy when there's blood in the streets. They buy and they build their positions when there's fear. And then when everyone's happy, that's when they're cashing out.
You brought up a great comparison in terms of the Black Friday and people trampling on each other to buy a TV at $200. That's fantastic. And
have you ever done that?
No, I've never done Black Friday. I've always been against it.
Yeah, I've never done Black Friday either, just because I don't like being around a lot of people. But what I was going to say is that, yeah, I mean, I think like if I look at my channel and the content that I'm coming out with, I'd say that probably the theme that I've spent the most amount of time on, you know, I mean, is around this idea of our emotions and getting the better of us. And I've done so many videos where that is kind of primarily what I'm talking about, because I started my channel during the bear market, right? Like I've really only been up for a couple of months now. And, you know, I think it's just, it's important and to provide that kind of education around, like, there are cycles with everything. And I think that something that I was actually thinking about the other day, which I want to do a video on, and I probably will, because I see people in comments or in telegrams talking about they're tired of hearing about the scratchies when it comes to drip. They're tired of hearing about scratchies. They're tired of hearing about when the dogs thing. They're tired of hearing about when the animal farm comes back on. And I realized I've actually not even really been covering that. Yeah, meaning like the bulk of what I'm saying, yes, we're going to be okay. I believe we're going to be okay in drip. I believe it's going to come back, but I'm not saying because of scratchies or because of, you know, the animal farm. I'm just saying I believe that this is a part of a cycle right now, and people that become successful and make, you know, large profits in any market are the ones that can withstand a lot of pain. And that's been like the big one that I've been sort of focusing on recently, is like the people that can get through the pain of being in a down market are the ones that profit when it turns. And when it turns and we start going back up again, that's when you start seeing more retail come in, and they're buying as things are going up. And all the people that have been dealing with the pain, they're the ones that are selling. And they're selling into the strength of it. So, you know, I even look at, like, for example, like Shiba. You know, I made a ton of money on that last year. I also bought into it in dollar cost average when it was down, and it just stayed down for months. I think I got into it in the spring, and I spent, you know, like 5 months of just like, it wasn't doing anything, and people were just talking all kinds of crap about it. And, you know, and then we had that crazy pump back in October. And as people were FOMOing in, I dollar cost average out, and I made a killing. And I believe that drip is going to be one of the things that comes out of this. It's just about how much pain can you withstand.
Right.
Yep, agreed. I mean, that's the thing, is if you're buying things that you feel have long value and that'll be around with good project developers, then you want to buy when it's cheap, buy low, sell high. Everybody knows that, but most people don't do that. But yeah, now, so that I think that's the greatest thing, is that, yes, like you were just saying, Beach, you know, if you buy things when they're discount, I know people in the outside world from before who were picking up so much cheap real estate back in 08, 09, 2010 that are living like kings right now because nobody wanted to touch it. They were able to buy it. They saw the value. So if you see something right now at these lower amounts like drip, and like when the animal farm comes back up and all that, that you see the long-term value. I mean, every time I see this here, I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm going to have to buy, you know, 10 more drip here. And I go in and I do it. And I keep adding here. Because, like, you know, I bought drip at the 100+ price. I have drip that I've bought over $100, and I've bought it, continuing to keep buying it all the way down because I see the long term. You know, it took me a while to understand drip. It took me a little bit to wrap my head about how all the stuff works. But once I felt that I understood it, I was like, wait a minute, I get this now. I see what this does. And I've been buying it ever since, because my cost basis now is, I think, like in the 20s, maybe almost 30 from buying all the way down. You know, I never got in early enough. I wish I would have got in earlier at the early days. I didn't, but I'm still buying here now. So
yeah, DeCryptoCat, when can you share a little bit about the times that you've bought drip and accumulated, and how you've spread it out, or
Yeah, let me pull up my spreadsheet. I'll tell you.
Oh, he's got the spread. I need to have a spreadsheet. I'm not as organized as you guys, man. And I was going to ask, actually, DR, is there a DApp or app or what do you call it? Something that can show what, by putting our wallet address in, can actually show our cost basis for drip? Because I haven't kept track. I can tell you is that I think I first entered drip, it was like 60 or 70, went down to 50, bought a little bit more, and then it started that meteoric rise. And I bought some as well when it was like 110. And then I've just been at times dollar cost averaging all the way down, but I have no idea like what my
Yeah, I wish there was. I mean, I've had thoughts in my head. I'm not a programmer developer. I wish I knew people who could write code, because I've had ideas of things that I thought would be great utility for people to track and know what you have and see your income and all that if it can read from the blockchain. But for me, and Nick's going to share his here, the crypto cap here in a second. I was just looking at saying, okay, well, every single time I bought drip, I put it in my spreadsheet, the dollar amount, and I put my total amount. So all I've been doing is say, well, how much drip do I own now? How much did I invest? And I'm just dividing it to figure out my cost basis. That's all, very simple there, because I've tracked every purchase and I keep putting it in my little spreadsheet to see where I'm at, what's my daily income and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure one of the tools that's out now could do that pretty easily, especially the new one that was just announced, or not announced, but that a lot of people are using. I don't remember what it was called. Is it the Nomics? No, it's not the Nomics. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure that they could do that pretty easily because they're already pulling in, your total bought, and they can query the blockchain for each purchase. But
well, listen, for those that are listening out there that have not been keeping track, I just want you to know something. You're not alone. Not everyone is like these two have spreadsheets and Excels and like I can't stand some of that stuff. It just drives me crazy.
You should see my drip garden spreadsheet.
Oh man, I have no clue. Now, does that mean that like it's okay to be sloppy like me? No, it's not. It's probably much smarter to be like them. I just want you to know you're not alone. That's the only thing I'm conveying right now. You're not alone. I don't keep track of that stuff either. I really should, but no one's perfect.
Well, to say that I'm keeping loose track.
Same thing.
I'm keeping hard track of my garden because it's pretty easy data to pull and watch the trends. But my actual like DeFi investments, it's pretty loosely tracked. So so what I'm tracking for my drip in particular is the date, the BNB price at the time, how much BNB I spent, and how many dollars that equals, and then the actual drip coin price and how many drip coins I bought. So my first deposit was on the 19th of August, and I spent about $300 to get me 11.5 tokens. And that was with a coin price of $31. And then every about, let's see, it looks like about every 2 weeks, every week to 2 weeks to sometimes 3 weeks, I'd buy a little bit more, spend about $100 here, $250 there, until December. And actually on the Christmas last year, the price came back down to 65, I think it was. And so I kind of aped in and tossed in $1,000 right there. It only got me 14.5 tokens.
Yeah.
And then I didn't do any more buys until March. And then there was another buy 2 months after that. So it's really been kind of sporadic. It was kind of DCAing in the first couple of months. And then just kind of waiting to see what happened and compounding all the time, So I've only bought, I have 2 wallets. I have a small one under Crypto Wealth, and then my main one is under PaidBoyT. But between the two, I've only bought 143 tokens, and I am at I'm at 835 right now.
Deposits, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So my average price is $27 right now.
Okay. So in terms of calculating your average price, you take what's the math?
I'm just using the dollars spent and
okay.
how many coins you bought.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yep, and mine came out to be like $29 and change right now, even though I bought not a bunch, but I was buying starting up in like there like in the 60s, 80s, 100 plus, and then now on the way back down, which I'm like, after this call, I think I might have to jump in for a few more here.
Right.
Yeah. I think I said if it hits, once it hits single digits, I'll buy some more. And then yeah, I mean, I also have like an idea of where I think it could be. Well, I don't know. Do we want to even talk about where it could potentially, go down to, or that's just kind of silly at this point?
I mean, no one knows, but someone shared a chart. I don't know if it was Drip Chat or One Chat, showing just the whole lifetime chart of Drip. And they were showing that there's a lot of support of a thing from a long time ago at like the 650 range.
That's what I actually, yeah, on my drip chart, I have a line around that area as I had like, where did I have? Like 14, I think I had. And then after that, like 680 or something like that is where I have a line in terms of support. But support and resistance with this DeFi charts, it's a little bit weird.
Right.
It's not quite the same as like your typical technical analysis.
And especially with a relatively new project.
Yeah.
Even though we have a year under our belt, there's not a whole lot of history to go by.
Right.
But I do think the future is bright. I think there's a lot of things like we were saying that I do still believe in this long term. I think Forex really wants to, like he always says, he goes, look at his first tokens, and Reap and the other ones that have been around for 2-3+ years still, and still trying to find utility for and making utility and helping those still grow and still have value. So being Drip is his first ever real DeFi protocol. I don't, that's going to be his baby. He's going to want to make sure that I would think that's going to be supported and has utility and have a long run rate, a long period of going. So,
and I want to say this just because the people that subscribe to my channel hear this from me quite a bit. But if I have your subscribers' attention for a second, I just want to share a little something, okay? Because Forex is going to eventually do some type of AMA or voice chat pretty soon. This is just my belief. Don't listen to a word he says when it comes to dates and times. Just anything he says about that, I want you to just, because what happens is he says it's going to happen on a certain date, and then the expectations go way up. And then when it doesn't happen, everyone freaks out. So just don't listen to the dates and times. Just it's going to happen when it's going to happen. All right, there. Sorry.
And we'll make sure you all know when it does happen.
Right. Exactly. There's something I saw that's really funny. I'm sorry that Forex operates on FST, which is Forex Standard Time.
Right. I wish you would just drop stuff on us. You know what I mean? Like we wake up one day and we have, a message. Oh, the dogs are active in like, because he doesn't.
He tries to drive a lot of hype.
Right. And I think, I was chatting with someone. I don't know if it was in my comments or if it was in a Telegram. I look at it like Forex is a developer, and developers have kind of that crazy mind that, when it comes to dates and times, that's just not their strong suit. So I've made it out to be a developer character flaw, which is like, can we all just agree that that's what it is? And so that way we don't get all freaked out when he doesn't deliver on time. But then someone was saying that, who was a developer, that was like, actually, when you're developing something on the blockchain, so many things at the very last minute can go wrong, and you have to double and triple check so many times that it's just so common for things to get delayed because you don't know what's going to happen at the last minute. And so I think it's a combination of both those things with Forex. But I know he's gonna start. People are already talking about the animal farm is going to be open next week. In no way, shape, or form am I banking on that in any way. If it happens, I'll be ecstatic, but I'm not going to be all pissed off, other than my worry about how others are going to interpret it not happening next week. So
and I think I'm sorry, go ahead, the crypto.
I've been a developer all my life. That's my career.
Oh,
and
perfect.
Well, there we go.
Here we go. Tell me if I'm right or wrong with my little theory.
No, you're right. And it's, of course, there's many facets of developers, right? And if you're a web developer, things tend to be a little more lenient than if you're a software developer that's having to pay attention to a release schedule. But with that said, yeah, sometimes dates just don't matter, and I can only imagine the complexity of the blockchain stuff. I've never tried any projects in the blockchain yet, so I don't have any inkling as to what it all entails. I know it's obviously can't be that difficult because a lot of people are doing it, but I'm sure, like you said, there's a lot of things that can go wrong at the very last second that can totally F you. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to add is now you add in, and Beach said it perfectly, like, don't get caught up, don't get worried about the time, ignore what he says of deliverables, don't get all emotional. But in the crypto world, time moves differently for a lot of investors, right? Because you see so many people that have come in and all the degens that are like, I just bought drip today, so when Lambo? You
Right.
know, I mean, that's the common joke, It's like, and like we said earlier in the beginning, this is something you're going to work on. This is, you're building a business, you're building longevity. If you're looking for the quick pump, these things are not built for this. This is built for the people who can stay focused long term and build their business and build their holdings and have their strategy and just keep putting in their work and keep grinding are the ones that win.
Absolutely. And that goes back to, I think, what we were originally talking about, you know what I mean, in terms of passive income. And, like as a business owner, with the business I have outside of anything having to do with anything online, I started the business and it was sort of an instant success and I've done really well, but that was like 10, 11 years of like blood, sweat, and tears that I put into it. In terms of just building connections and relationships and understanding the industry that I was in and all of that once I started the business, I was able to apply all those things. And, I agree that if the goal is passive income, which I think anyone watching this and listening to this, if you're listening to this, you're interested in it, guaranteed, because that's what we're all interested in. That's what we're all passionate about. I don't know really of much that get it passive income just like that. Maybe you hear about it every now and again as like a moonshot type of thing, but it does take focus, it does take attention, and patience, and having to deal with a level of pain. If you want to start any business, you don't expect to be profitable in your first year.
Right.
It takes time, right? And what's great about something like DeFi and crypto and anything sort of online is if you can do it from your phone while you're sitting poolside, having a daiquiri. I mean, guys, that's what we're going for here, right? So
exactly.
Yeah. Focus, tension, patience.
Yeah.
And actually on an I think that would be possibly a good time for wrap it up. I know I do actually have to get going to another meeting. But I wanted to say that I'm really glad that the three of us were able to kind of come together here and just share experiences, share the way that we think about things, share our outlook on things. I'm a follower of both of your guys' channel. I love listening to other people share how they look at things, because sometimes it's like, oh, I never thought of it that way. That makes perfect sense. Like even today, DR, the comparison around, people seem to know the value of a flat screen TV, that they'll trample on people to buy it at 200. I think that was fantastic. Yet they see something like drip, that's at these prices, and it freaks them out. So anyway, guys, I really do appreciate us all jumping on, and DeCryptoCat, what a great idea you had putting this all together.
Absolutely.
You really kind of keep us all together, and really appreciate you.
Well, thanks for that. And shout out to Lee Driptonian. He was supposed to be with us today, and he's must be off making money, or having some issues with his business. So we'll get him on next time, guys. If those of you watching, let us know if you want to see more of these. We can kind of make it a regular thing, and let us know what what other channel hosts you'd like us to bring in? We've got, like I said, we've got over 20 channels in our private group right now represented. So we'd love to hear what you guys think and who you'd like to see.
Yeah, we basically do this through Telegram and on a daily basis. And you know, DeCryptoCat, it was you that was like, well, let's make a little show out of it, you know, so we can share it with the people that subscribe to our channels. And we're like, great. So if you guys like this, because we're doing it every day just through text, you know, let us know, because we'd be happy to keep bringing these types of shows and bring on other YouTubers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'll just say my last piece here too is, you know, definitely support Beach, definitely support the DeCryptoCat. And I would say subscribe to a lot of different channels. I agree that you should have and hear a lot of voices. You know, I think if you're only hearing one voice, one opinion in anything in life, I think is not good. I think you have to always be open to listen to all sides of everything to help you make the best decision for yourself. And, you know, I think this is a great conversation, and I think something I would love for all of us to keep doing. Everybody thought this was valuable. Leave comments on everybody's channel. Tell them what you like, what you didn't like from this, what you think. Of course, make sure that everybody is subbing to everybody else's channel. So I hope all of you are doing that as well, and really following and giving us the likes to help the YouTube algorithm get this out to more people, of course. And I just think that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, what kind of stuff can we keep bringing value with these conversations? Things that are happening in real time, then we can go on and, like the DeCryptoCat said, bring on other YouTubers and have other people in different groups and different conversations. I think this is something that people may really like and enjoy and want to see some, you know, in separately than us doing our own videos. And I think all these other opinions and sharing ideas and bouncing off each other, I hope will just help a lot of people at the end of the day.
Yeah, and that's a great point. And as I said in my video yesterday that I had on my channel, I mean, there's something that as a viewer that you can do to help support, you know, Drip and DeFi is subscribe, like, comment, because what it does is it gets our information out to new people that may be interested in investing and becoming part of Drip. And we definitely need that right now. So we will make sure to have links to all of each other's channels down below. So definitely, if you're not subscribed to one of these guys or myself, even, please, if you could, hit that subscribe button. We don't get your email address. We're not going to bother you. Nothing is going to happen if you subscribe. It's just a quick click of the button.
But we will like you a whole lot more.
Yeah, we will. I mean,
of course,
you know,
share the love.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, both of you have a blessed day. I'll see you guys in Telegram. And for the rest of you watching, appreciate you guys tuning in and hanging with us.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.